Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's always so awkward starting one of these recordings. I get this image of The Simpsons and Dr. Nick in my head every time, like, "Hi, everybody." It's it's so awkward. Just the whole act of recording yourself speaking. But and that's why people have all of these catchphrases that they use when they start their videos because it's this monotonous robotic thing that they can do to start a video, so it's not so awkward. But anyway, it's been a while since I made a video, obviously, so I'm probably going to be a little rusty. But I do want to go over, I mentioned this in another video as it related to the issue of the yellow sun versus the white sun, where I was watching an episode of A Football Life and I noticed what appeared to be a blatant CGI implanted image of the sun into one of these old recordings that the NFL Films has. So I'm just going to play this real quick and you'll see what I see, hopefully.
Because I think he's hurting your reputation. I hung the phone up. Never gave him a chance to say a word.
I wasn't the same football player.
And there it is. I remember when I was watching this and I could not believe that thing was put into this film because now for the context so you understand what I'm saying. Jerome Bettis started his career with the Rams, and let me bring this up. This was his rookie season was in 1993, and then he was with the Rams until 1995. They moved to St. Louis, and then he was traded to the Steelers. So the implication, of course, is that this footage with him in a Rams uniform, it had to have been either in 1993, 1994, or 1995. And of course, as many of you can attest who are older, in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, or 60s, or whatever the case may be, the sun did not look like this in 1993, right? This is what the sun looks like today. And you might be asking yourself, well, why would the NFL do this? Well, you have to understand that within the spectrum of how aware the population is, NFL fans who are watching A Football Life are within the spectrum that are the least aware. So by putting this image into its old footage, somebody who watches the NFL it's going to play subconsciously on them in a way where if somebody tells them that the sun used to be yellow, that will be subconsciously in their mind and it will create the resistance to that idea, you see. But just to elaborate on this further, there is another player, an episode of The Football Life, Christian Okoye, and he played from 1987 to 1992. And so I went to his A Football Life and took a bunch of images, and you'll see what I'm saying here. This is the first one. Now, as you can see, so this footage has to be from 1987 to 1992. And you can see by the reflection in the helmet here that the sun looks nowhere close to this version that we see today. And this version that they put in this just looks so fake. Like, just to illustrate that, I mean, this is the picture that I took with my own phone about, I don't know, a couple months, maybe a year ago. I don't even remember. Well, where's the screenshot from? 1/16/2017. Yeah, so around that time, about a year ago. And I mean, it doesn't even look like the real sun. It's like shoddy CGI. So the first logical question that a skeptic would bring up is, well, how can you say that the reflection on the helmet actually will dictate what it looks like in the sky? Or in other words, how can you guarantee that that's a mirror? Well, all you have to do, first I'll show just a couple more of these Okoye photos. Again, here's another picture where you can clearly see, and not only that, it's like the soft yellow version of it reflecting and not this bright white version. So this is reflecting the reality that was in the sky at the time, this soft yellow sun that reflects in this little spot. Now, someone, of course, again, a skeptic might be able to say, well, that's a red helmet. So isn't that red helmet going to make it look more yellow than it is? Well, okay. If you want to go with that argument, well, not ready for that one yet. Where are those Terry Bradshaw pictures? Oh, yeah, here we go. So this is a picture of Terry Bradshaw's black helmet. And again, you can see the same soft yellow small dot reflected sun in his black helmet. And of course, Terry Bradshaw played in the 70s. Most of his career was in the 70s. So again, this is the same soft yellow sun that everyone that I wasn't alive then, but everyone who was alive then remembers it in that way. So we go to pictures from today's NFL. This was week 2 of this season, and you can see the reflection in Christian McCaffrey's helmet here is a reflection that dictates a similar version in the sky, right? This is what the picture I had just up. This is what the reflection would be of this sun today. Here's another version from a different game in a different helmet, and you can see again similar reflection. And this is a bit of a gold helmet, so there's a bit more yellow there as well. And again, this is the same thing. You can see it reflected in the sun. It would look similar to this. So this is kind of incredible that I've busted NFL Films going back into their footage and implanting a CGI sun to subconsciously influence its viewers. And you know, the amazing part is if NFL Films is doing this, I mean, it's probably being done all across Hollywood. They're probably going back into all of these films and television shows and altering the reflection of the sun to reflect a different version of it, so no one so when someone is faced with the question of whether or not this has actually transpired, they're going to sit there and go, well, because they got that subconscious influence, you know, if they don't have the experience for themselves where they're certain that that is the case. So after I discovered this, I decided to go back and look at other footage that might have a similar thing. So the first idea that I had was maybe old NASCAR footage would have reflections on the cars. And I stumbled upon this old 1970 NASCAR broadcast. And the broadcast was so interesting because they actually had the commercials that were running from that time. And this is a still from 55 minutes in, where you can clearly see 1970, this commercial. I mean, this could have been filmed in 1969. Who knows when it was actually filmed, because this is when it was aired anyway. But you can clearly see that soft yellow sun that was reflected in all those pictures of Christian Okoye and Terry Bradshaw's helmet. And this is, of course, the soft yellow sun that everyone from that time remembers. So then this got me thinking, well, maybe there's footage in old commercials as well that would have similar evidence here. And so this is 1922. This is September 22nd, 1985, an ABC commercial break from the 37th Emmy Awards. And you can see again that soft yellow sun in the distance, 1985, that soft sunset, not these ridiculous sunrises and sunsets that we have now, right? The much brighter version of it. Let's see what else we got here. This is from the same broadcast. I think I'm just a little behind.
No matter which road.
There it is, dude. And just by the way, like going through, it was such an amazing experience going through all these old commercials because it really underscored the mindset at the time, because the advertising reflects the consciousness of the people that it is trying to manipulate, right? Here was another picture. This is 1985 again, might have been filmed in 1984, who knows. But again, the soft yellow sun in the sky. This is even better because it's not a sunrise or a sunset. Like again, you got to remember, going back to that questions for NASA video I did, how there's a difference between the sunrise and sunset and the noon day sun or the afternoon sun because of the amount of atmosphere that the wavelengths have to go through in order to reach your eyes. So there's more reds and oranges when it's a sunrise or sunset as opposed to the noonday sun. So this one you can see, yeah, sure, it's a little brighter, but that's because it's the noonday sun, or at least it's getting close to that. I don't know. We don't know if it's on the way up or on the way down. But the point is, of course, that this is the sun that those of us who were alive at this time, I mean, I was only like 2 years old, or yeah, like 2.5 years, almost 3 years old when this commercial was aired. But, the sun stayed like this into the early 90s, late 90s. So I have memories of it. And you could look at this sun all day long. You could actually, gaze at it. And that's the thing that we all remember because, you can't sit and gaze at this version of it. I mean, look at the difference. It's crazy, man. This sun is nowhere close to that one, right? And this is even behind some clouds, where this one, there were no clouds in front of this one. But the other thing to that point that you notice when you go over this footage is, as the years progress, as it gets closer to 2001, the sun is progressively getting brighter. And this would make sense, of course, if we were on some sort of cycle where the sun was going to slowly change over time. It would slowly build up to 2012 where the phenomena really took off. And then, we're in the situation that we are now with this just supernova version of our sun. So then there were some other ones. This was just another one that was from the same 1985 Emmy show. Again, that soft yellow sunset. Oh, and this is the best one. This is a Folgers commercial from 1993. Let's play a little bit of it. Well, I missed the beginning. Here we go. Again, that soft, beautiful sunrise. This is from 1993, so this is even a little later than those 1985 clips. Advertising is so ridiculous. Oh, man. See, and then there is the sun rising over this barn here. But I mean, just see that soft red hue that's around it, that beautiful golden yellow color. We just don't get that anymore. And then of course there's this nice reflection of the sun on the skin here, and you can clearly see the yellow hue. That's the other thing you notice is there's just this yellow hue, and of course, in the old footage, they would have a skeptic argument prepared, and they would say, oh, well, yeah, that was just the camera quality. Now everything's in HD, and so you see everything much clearer. We didn't have HD back then, so that's why it looks like this yellow color. They have an answer for everything, but of course, we don't fall for those talking points anymore, so they can try, but it's not going to work. And then there's that beautiful golden yellow hue in the window. I challenge everybody. I don't know. It is the winter, so you might not be lucky enough to see the sun like I'm able to see the sun on most days. But you go down to your window and you stand in front of it and look at it. There is not a golden yellow hue like this coming through in the morning. It is a bright white, harsh, glaring blare of light that's coming through. And then there again, there's the sun. In its yellow hue, just totally removed from what we see today. And an advertising campaign is successful when I see this commercial come on and the jingle's going off in my head because I heard this so many times growing up. Let's see what we got here. This is from 1982, and I don't know if I had this to the right spot. No, I don't think it. Oh, I missed it. There it is.
Super 7 vacations. How little they cost, how much they offer.
That advertisement is just so ridiculous. I cannot handle advertising. This was a big challenge for me, although I was just laughing through the whole thing. So there again is this beautiful yellow sun in 1982. Again, we don't know if it's. I mean, they're showing a plane, so it's got to be pretty high up in the sky. But you assume maybe the plane was taking off, although it looks like it's level. Who knows? Anyway, there's no way to tell where this footage is coming from because I'm not going to go back and like research the commercial. I don't even know if you could do that. But yeah, again, there's the sun. So they haven't scrubbed all of the evidence off the internet. I just didn't know where to look, and it was triggered by that a football life realization that I had, and then that chain of events that I went over. And then this was just another. I think actually this was the same exact commercial on another. Well, no, it couldn't have been. Some hotline, but that was my point about how you can see this is in 1993. This is a little bit of a brighter version of that same sun, so you can see over 10 years, 11 years, how it's getting a little brighter, a little brighter, a little brighter as time goes on. And then this was the last one I had up.
Today, Siemens technology can connect.
Oh yeah, just another, again, this is a sunrise, sunset, but you see that nice golden hue that's coming through, which again is completely contrasted to, now of course, again, there is the sunrise, sunset, atmospheric refraction thing going on here, so you do get some golden hues in this new brighter version of the sun, but it's again not anywhere near what it is here and in all these other versions. So we can clearly see that the sun in 1995 and 94, 93, the years that Jerome Bettis was with the St. Louis Rams, the sun clearly did not look like this in the noonday sky. And of course, this is a picture of Jerome Bettis from the same time period, and in his helmet he has the same reflection that you would see from the soft yellow sun, the same reflection that was in Christian Okoye's helmet or any of the other Chiefs players from that footage, and Terry Bradshaw's as well. And I'll bring another one of those up. There it is, same reflection. So it is pretty clear and undeniable that NFL films and the NFL in general has been busted putting a CGI sun into its old footage to look exactly like the sun as we see it today. And again, as I said earlier, they would do this for reasons of subconscious manipulation of its fan base. So that would make sense from their perspective. Or maybe they just wanted to mess with people. Who knows why they decided to do it, but you have to keep in mind, like I said, of course, that this is probably going on in a wide variety of places. I'm surprised that they let all of these old commercials stay out there without manipulating them. I'm surprised if they were going to take the time to put a CGI sun in here. I'm surprised they didn't take the time to go through all their footage and alter all of the reflections. Maybe they didn't think to do that, or maybe it would have been way too expensive, or perhaps it was simply impossible because of how many helmets have a reflection of the sun over all of the years of NFL footage combined that is contained within NFL films. So, I don't know the reason. All I know is I saw it and I had to point it out. And of course, it's obvious when you compare NFL 2018 to this photo. Like, yes, this is what a sun that looked generally like this. Of course, this is a bad CGI version of what the sun really looks like now. But yes, this sun would look like that in the reflection of a helmet. And so this footage of his helmet with the soft reflection absolutely destroys the idea that this was going on at the time when he was in the Rams uniform. So that is that.